If you're an artist, you have probably made an OC at some point in your life. And when making OCs, there are probably a plethora of OCs that have come and gone. It it's weird. I look through my old sketchbooks and see the OCs that I used to care so much about being gone, and it fills me with this weird feeling cuz like you make an OC, you give them a backstory, you give them character traits, you create a whole world around them just for at some point for them to fade away. And it's whatever. You move on to new OCs, you move on to new ideas, you grow as a person, and therefore your characters grow. But it's also a lot of fun to kind of revamp the old ones and put some new life into them. And that's what I'm doing today with 4 OCs from one story that I had in 2017, 2018 ish. Starting off with who was meant to be the main character, Ripley. The story's name is Believe It or Not. Get it? Ripley's Believe It or Not? So funny. But also it had to do with aliens, and so Ripley is a reference to the movie Alien. Despite that character's last name being Ripley and her first name being Ellen. Anyway, Ripley. This Ripley. She was fun and outgoing and friendly. Her character, she was meant to be the front face of a like YouTube channel that was supposed to go after aliens and cryptid and mysteries, kind of think BuzzFeed Unsolved type beat, because this is when BuzzFeed Unsolved was still BuzzFeed Unsolved.
I wanted to reflect her really bubbly personality in her design, but I still really wanted to change her design because it's been my least favorite out of the bunch for a long time. And honestly, I think it was the hair. I I like a good pixie cut, but I think it just doesn't suit her, and the long hair definitely does. And it also helps differentiate her from the other millions of characters that have short hair that I've drawn. I kept it purple though. I think it would be a crime to make it not purple. And yeah, I like this. Yeah. Can you tell this isn't scripted? Holy shit. Uh I do think I could have tried a little harder on her outfit. Most of the time in her old drawings, she had a black tank top, so I went with a bit of a modified tank top look. But she's always had a bit of a boho vibe going on, like kind of hipstery. Yeah, and I think it would have been interesting if I had went a little harder with that, but I didn't, and it's too late now. I Next character. This is Luna. Luna and Ripley are dating. Luna never really got a fleshed out character. Also, would like to clarify, her name is Luna, which is a pretty basic spacey name. She is not the alien in this story. Uh yeah, I already really liked her design, so I only just modified it a little bit. She never got much of a personality of her own other than being Ripley's girlfriend, and she drove a Vespa. I imagine in this updated design she has gone more the motorcycle route than the Vespa route. While I didn't do any really big changes to her design, there were some minor things. I made her hair a lighter shade of brown and just made it to braids rather than the updo, which I think is kind of out of fashion now. I'm not sure. I don't know what's fashionable. It doesn't really matter. Uh, I gave her some piercings. I gave her a single double eyelid because I thought that would just be fun. I made her and Ripley have matching necklaces. Also, I did the Ripley drawing in one night, and then I was planning on doing the rest of them, but I ended up with a pretty bad headache that led me to lay wallowing in my bed for a day and a half, and only once I was recuperated did I push out the other three characters. So I think Ripley's design looks a little bit different from all the others, and that's why I did it on a different day. Now, you remember I said Ripley was meant to be the main character and then it shifted? This is Marco, her brother, and the main character, and also the highlight of my middle school time. I was obsessed with him. I loved him so much, I drew him all the time. He was the cameraman helping her out with the videos and also the editor. He also worked at a cafe. There was also a point in time where the story shifted completely and suddenly he was living in a completely different state from Ripley. Whatever. Uh I was so obsessed with him, and I think because of that, this redraw is my least favorite out of the bunch. I don't it's people say that hands are one of the hardest things to draw because you see them constantly, so you're always very nitpicky when they look off. That's what it's like with him. I don't think I can do justice to the absolute soul that I gave him. Uh he was like the mom of the friend group. He was kind of shy, but not really. He didn't love being in front of the camera. He played music. I was so obsessed. And you know what? There was a person in middle school who also expressed interest in him. He would look through my sketchbook all the time and go, "Ah, Marco." And so I gave him a bunch of drawings of Marco that I had, and now they are gone and I will never see them again. If I had a time machine, I'm so sad about that. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I'm not super happy with this redesign. One thing though, at this point in time in my middle school life, I had discovered the front bottoms, and that was probably a very pivotal point in my brain development. So I made it so Marco really liked the front bottoms, and I would draw him in a front bottoms hoodie all the time. And to kind of pay homage to that, I put him in an Elliott Smith t-shirt this time because that's a pivotal musical artist in my life right now. Yeah, fun little tidbit. And lastly, there is Edgar, who Marco is in love with and also is an alien. I never got a solid design of him that I liked. He is just a guy. For an alien, he is just a man. One of those pictures, that is just Jungkook. Like, and I think that means that any way I do the redesign is an improvement because he is not just a dude. Yeah. He definitely had an eyeball or just like eye motif in his whole designs, which I got rid of, but he also had like tattoos or markings in most of them, which I kept, except I made them like green, glowy tattoos. I made his ears pointed, and I tried to make his skin just like a little too olive toned. Like, because olive is a normal skin color, but it's just a little too green. you know? As the plot goes, like I said, Ripley was doing like a mystery solving YouTube channel, and Marco is like out on a deck one night and sees a spaceship landing, and he goes to check it out alone without getting his friends. And oh my god, it's a spaceship, and there's an alien in there who is completely like spaceship crashed. He has insane amnesia, and so the plot is they're trying to figure out why he's there, and like, oh, they're slowly falling in love. Oh my god, wow. I cannot knock the plot too much because I was literally in 7th grade when I first wrote it, but it's hard. It's so embarrassing to be explaining out loud and now be putting in front of a bunch of people. I hope you liked this video despite that.
So here is all of them finished together. I hope you enjoyed this video. I recently have had an influx of viewers and subscribers, and if you're one of them, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I also would be interested in knowing what type of content you're interested in watching, because I'm not really sure what's good and what's bad. But yeah, that's all I have for this video. Have a wonderful day, you guys.